I'm stunned. I'm speechless. As he just showed me, like, oh my God. Oh my God. Father. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. He's done everything that he could to try to make it crystal clear that if only you had chose loving kindness and all things good, you would never ever bring death and destruction upon yourselves. And humanity, since the moment of the first error, have brought death and destruction upon themselves because they refuse loving kindness and all things good. They refuse to love thy neighbor as thyself. Earthly and spiritual Israel, the historic mission of Israel, the Yahudim, its failure. Verily I say to you that if humanity had preserved within the law which their conscience dictated inwardly, it would not have been necessary to send you guides nor prophets, nor would it have been necessary for your Lord to descend among you, even to engrave my law in stone during the first error, or having to become human and die as a man upon a cross in the second error. He didn't come die for our sin. He literally came to demonstrate that it is possible to keep the eternal, infinite, unconditional law of love. The eternal law of infinite loving kindness and all things benevolent. If I formed a people and lavished them with gifts, it was not so they could exalt themselves and humiliate others, but rather for them to be an example of submission before the true God and an example of brotherhood among men. We got the best lands in order to be righteous. Now today, these base nations think that they have the right to just take lands and squat wherever they see fit, wherever they plant a flag. Wherever they place their flag, they think that it belongs to them. Why is that? Because the original people that were given these lands didn't choose to stay obedient to the God that gave us these lands, blessed us, lavished us. We chose to break his covenant. Now today, my brethren want to blame all of this on the other nations. I see both problems. I see the problem of the nations that don't give a damn about anything spiritually, and I see my brethren that clearly refuse to take responsibility for the reason why we lost our protection upon this land. Like, why are we living in the these circumstances with a base of all men writing the laws and the legislations, the worst of the heathen, in complete spiritual ignorance. Why are they ruling on top of the true kings and queens and princes of this land? We got to take accountability. See, I've done this. I've taken accountability. I understand that we grieved the ever-presence of benevolence with much bloodshed. This was to be a bloodless land. But the covenant people of this land didn't want to keep the covenant of this land of no bloodshed. It was a pure covenant. But my brethren today want to keep a blood covenant until this day. They think it's okay to slaughter an animal so that they can eat his dead body and then glorify the God who created the animal. Because they think that he created the animal to die so they can fill their gut. It's evil. But you don't see it. They're completely in a strong delusion. How the hell is that righteous? Did you give the breath of life to these animals? Hell no, you did not. So therefore you do not have the right to take away their breath of life so that you can eat their dead body. That's pure selfishness. There's no compassion for the animal. There's no love for the animal. You can't say that you love the animals when you are okay and complacent with their death so that you can eat their dead bodies. This was a transgression of my people upon this land. We grieved the presence of benevolence. This is why we lost our protection. My brethren want to cast me off as if I'm ignorant. But they're so righteous when they throw out the law of love and literally try to cast that to white Jesus. Oh, get on with that Christianity. Thou shalt love your neighbor as thyself. You're mocking the eternal law that ain't never gonna change. When the hell have the Christians loved their neighbor as thyself? Just because they took the law in their mouth and they teach it, it don't mean that they keep it. They only use it as a weapon against the genuine. Because by their actions, they do the exact opposite. But that doesn't make it null and void. It don't make it null and void that we are to love your neighbor as thyself. It doesn't make it null and void to do for others that which you will want done for yourself. It doesn't make it null and void to refrain from doing to others things you will not want done to yourself. How come my brethren ain't bringing this? But they're bringing all of this, we gotta keep these feast days and, do all of these vain traditions of mortal men. But never come back to the pure covenant. They're still wanting to feast on the animals. And they think that this is what's overturning our captivity. They're looking to the destruction of the nations. They're looking for revenge and for the nations to suffer It's like they want to see the nation suffer. How is that a righteous heart condition? They are still searing their conscience and hardening their heart condition. They're on a dark path, and they don't even know it. I ain't trying to tear down my brethren, but I get tired. Y'all all ignore me. I'm over here, we're going on 1,300 videos, but my channel is ghosted. I've been doing this work, but I'm straight ghosted. People act like I don't exist. I chose this people so that they would be an instrument of my will on earth and carrier of my revelations, so they would invite everyone to live within my law of loving kindness, and so that all humanity would become the only people of the eternal Father, Mother. If this people have suffered greatly in spite of being the chosen, it is because they believed the heritage was only for them, that their God could not have been a God for the pagans, because they regarded the other people as strangers and did not share with them what the Father had entrusted to them. So, I didn't even know this part. I didn't know that my people were, I knew that they were puffed up in their pride and arrogance and all of that, but I didn't know that they were mistreating the other nations. I did not know that they weren't using the abundance of this land to assist the other nations. I didn't know that they oppressed the other nations. I didn't know my people did this. Okay? No, I didn't know that. So on top of killing the animals, they were being evil towards their neighbor. Man, I have stuff that I gotta do, people. Okay, I really gotta go get water. I'm out of water. I got an appointment early in the morning, and so I haven't even had my coffee. I gotta get my coffee. I was planning on going to the store around about freaking 7 a.m. So people, what I'm gonna ask that you do is because I stopped here in mid verse 4. I can't. Hold on. Let me at least go get my coffee, okay? I got stuff that I gotta do today, but I flow by way of the Spirit. I flow by way of the Spirit, so I can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help it. I got when the Spirit hits, I gotta just let it flow. Okay, but at the same time, I got stuff that I gotta do. Bro. No. Freaking light is dark. Woo, shit. I got stuff I gotta do. I gotta get to the store, man. I gotta get to the store. I got videos I gotta upload. And they supposed to be doing this, like, coming in here randomly. They get contractors and shit. I don't want to leave my apartment, unoccupied. That's why I really wanted to get up there to the store around about 7 a.m. this morning, because that's what time they open. But, I got, tied up, bro. Tied up. Okay? Tied up. Just, I was listening to my audios I listened to overnight, and Brother Maurice and his wife was bringing out something from the Third Testament. They were bringing out this Third Testament, chapter 39, and I was so floored. They started at verse 11, but I was led by way of the Spirit to start in verse 1. And we got to verse 4, and we're in the middle of verse 4, and I'm just so floored. I'm so floored at how All of this connects to everything that's been pressed upon my spirit. All right, like this is how I've been validated. I've been validated because this is what's been within me my whole damn life. Okay, this is what's been within me my whole life. When I was searching for answers, I had questions. Okay, and so when my questions began to be answered, via these scriptures, via these records, because that's what was in me, like I knew that there was something wrong with being forced to come up with money and pay this money. I knew that there was something off with that. But I was being evilly entreated and forced to put my time, energy, and effort attaining it, despite the fact that I felt like something was off with it. Persecuted by my family because I wasn't taking kindly to attaining this money. Okay? Like, I was questioning things. Alright? My family did not like that. My teachers did not like that. Okay? My elders did not like that. Alright? Especially being in a female body. Okay? So being born in a female body, my family acted like I didn't have the right to question a damn thing. Okay? Let alone or anything about adult issues such as earning money. Like I was treated with contempt. I have been treated with contempt my entire life. My entire life I've been treated with contempt. Like, who do you think you are? How dare you? Like, this, bruh, don't look up that definition, contempt, man. We need to look that shit up at some point in time. Alright? Because, bruh, this is exactly how I've been treated. Like, how dare you? Who do you think you are? Know your place. Like, bruh. Oh, man. So now, all right. Shalom, shalom, everybody. I am here, and I just want to go over this contempt definition. So,
contempt.
As you can see, it is a feeling that a person or thing is beneath consideration, worthless, or deserving scorn. This has been my life. People have treated me this way, regardless of how I feel about it. This is how I've been treated, period. By my family, by everybody around me, by my teachers. Practically everybody have treated me with contempt, scorn, disdain, disrespect, depreciation, disparagement, alright, degeneration, or what is that, what is this, hold on, won't let me, I don't know why it won't let me open up in a new one. The action of criticizing or belittling someone or something.
Denigration.
Denigration, especially in an unfair way. This is how my elders have always treated me. My mother, my father, okay, my uncles, my aunts, okay. This is how I've been treated. Okay, my stepdad, okay. The action of criticizing or belittling someone
especially in unfair way. What is the unfair way? Treating me like my opinion don't matter. Treating me like my heart condition don't matter. Treating me like my mentality don't matter. And this what's abominable about it is because this was done to those of us that have a righteous mentality of actually loving one another as thyself. Okay, naturally having this quantity. Okay, naturally being generous, naturally being selfless. Okay, more so a giver than a taker. Okay, nevertheless, the circumstances that we're born in poverty, okay, and those who set themselves in authority over us requiring money, we weren't born with money, okay? But we also were not born with a mentality and or the heart condition to obtain this money. We had a benevolent heart condition and a benevolent mentality. So that is contrary to having a mentality and heart condition geared after getting money. Because money did not come from a benevolent source. Okay? So it's an unfair way of treating us to criticize us and belittle us for not having the mentality and ambition and or will to obtain money. To be mistreated because we don't have the ambition to obtain something that did not come from a benevolent source, but is being demanded by the wicked. Harsh criticism or censor, silencing us, silencing our voices, treating us like we are irrelevant, like we don't matter. The only thing that matters is money. And because we don't have the mentality and the heart condition, the drive, the will, the ambition to get that money, then we are demonized. We are abused. We're condemned. We're disgraced, shamed, dishonored. People want to try to discredit me. It's like, so because I'm coming with this message, automatically that makes me a charlatan? Automatically, I'm here to obtain people's money? That's my motivation for doing this? This is how I've been treated. I've been treated like, initially, everybody around me has tried to discredit me. Stigma. Everybody knows how the pulpit pimping pastors have done for centuries. So now it's like people want to label that on me. Humiliation. Disfavor. All of this disesteem. Okay? Like, why do you treat me this way? What makes you think that I deserve this? Simply because I was born in this world where wicked people who set themselves in authority over me are requiring money from me. Already that's oppression in and of itself. that I'm being required to pay these people money. But now I have to be ridiculed and mistreated and slandered and ostracized and hated and all of these things by the general public because I'm not doing what I can with my time, energy, and effort to come up with this money to pay these wicked people who's demanding it from me. No, I was here to seek the spiritual clarity and the understanding. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I've done. You know, people treat me with disgust. I've been ridiculed the entirety of my life. People hold me in derision, act like I'm crazy, while they live a whole false-ass reality. Like money is really more important than human necessity. That is contrary to our conscience, people. Mockery, loathing, abhorrence. Why do you abhor me? But see, when you're claiming the God that I've pledged my allegiance, you are doing something that is abominable to my God. Is an abhorrence to my God what you're doing unto his righteous, faithful servants. Why do you hate me? Why do you refuse to respect me? Simply because I do not spend my time, energy, and or effort working for money. See, I did a post. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, people. Okay? I'm not going to spend too much time on it. One second. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I really don't want this to be a whole bunch of videos. I'm just flowing by way of the Spirit on this part here. And then, we'll have to continue because I want to show you the what I'm reading from the Third Testament, okay? So, stop this, man. Quit it. Tired of y'all. Quit. Wait. Alright, let's see. Oh man, my computer is so laggy, man. It's annoying. Oh goodness sakes. I just did a post. Oh, come on now. Let's see. Grid. Let me find this faster. Oh, come on. I just did a post that was concerning this. Wait a minute. I don't think this is it, but it might be. No. Don't remember. Okay. So So when you are mistreating us, okay, when you're mistreating the ones of us who choose to go through the physical misery and suffering for righteous purposes, you don't understand that you're setting yourself up for great destruction. You're setting yourself up for misery and long suffering. Okay? The majority of humanity do not realize that they've been willingly setting themselves up for great misery and long suffering. This is because they have continuously chosen to uphold great misery and long suffering over the meek, tender-hearted vessels of mercy. Okay? Yes, the righteous few who have willingly chosen to endure the great physical misery and long suffering due to not having money. In this society, those who don't have money and or at least a mentality, ambition, and will geared after obtaining that money by our time, energy, and effort, we are considered as bums. We're reduced as the quote-unquote scum of the earth. We're deemed quote-unquote lazy. We're considered quote-unquote ignorant and irresponsible. We're considered as all of these things for the simple fact that we're not quote-unquote working to obtain the money that the worst of the heathen is requiring from all of humanity in order to live our lives upon the earth. So in essence, majority of people are angry at the fact that we refuse to obtain what the big bully is demanding. And because we refuse to spend our time, energy, and effort obtaining what the big bully is demanding and requiring, those who initially have a righteous spirit with a conscience and a benevolent heart condition automatically feel the righteous obligation to assist us out of the abundance of their accumulated life-sustaining resources, which is again also what the wicked is continuously demanding and requiring for anything and everything within this physical reality. They also raise the prices, which tighten the grip, squeezing the population. Yes, they are causing people to harden their heart condition and sear their conscience. Nevertheless, we all do still have a choice, people. That choice does not go away. Just because you are allowing the wicked to cause you to harden your heart condition and continuously sear your conscience, it don't mean that you're gonna be held exempt. Okay, it's not like you're gonna be exempt from judgment. Okay, you're not gonna be exempt. But those who have been compelled into conforming to this system, earning, saving, and paying their money for a living, yeah, I understand it causes you to be salty against the meek, tender-hearted vessels of mercy. You're salty against the wrong ones. Why are you not salty against the big bad bully that's requiring this money? Why don't you band together to help the meek, tender-hearted vessels of mercy. See, I know what that is. It's a humility issue. You want to look your nose down at me. You want to feel proud of your physical accomplishments. You want to feel proud with your large bank accounts, okay? Your big house and your nice vehicle and all your materialistic things. You want to feel proud of your successful life that you done built for yourself. You've accepted the indoctrination of the illusion. This is why you have to unlearn the ways of this world. Humble yourself. Repent. Because we were all taught according to the mentality and heart condition of the worst of the heathen, which is everything contrary to loving your neighbor as thyself. Okay? You've adopted a mentality of selfishness and greed, capitalism. Okay? This is a great transgression that humanity must repent and overturn. This is what is meant by come out of her, my people, so that you be not a partaker of her iniquity. What iniquity? All of this great atrocity that has been accumulating upon the earth. Casting people out of their houses because they don't have money. All of the raping, robbing, murdering, plundering, pillaging that was done unto the original seed of this land. Forcing us to be the prisoners of war, used as the commodity to back the debt of the United States currency. Okay? Understand what has happened. We have been seated here for many reasons, including this reason. But it is not this reason that I chose to do this. Because when I set out to do this, I had no idea that I was going to be given this message. I was only following the leading of the Holy Spirit. And it doesn't matter whether or not you want to believe me. 'Cause I live what I speak. And actions speak louder than words. And my actions line up with the words that I have been speaking. Therefore, it's in one accord and in unison to the one who has sent me. So I don't fear man. I don't fear mortal men. My trust and faith is in the ever-presence of benevolence. I follow the dictates of my conscience. For real, for real. This is about an authentic change of mentality and heart condition from selfishness to righteousness. So again, I did not do this for the purpose of obtaining money. I did this strictly in my obedience of following after the leading of the Holy Spirit. And I have chosen to go through the physical misery and long suffering for righteous purposes. Going on 4 years, I've went through a lot of physical misery and long suffering, being scorned and held in contempt, simply because I don't earn money for a living any longer. Money is not my God, and it cannot any longer be imposed upon me. You're done demonizing me, Because I don't have a mentality and or a heart condition geared after obtaining money. I don't have to live my life for money. Okay? I can live my life to please the maker of my spirit. You can't outlaw me from this. All you can do is continue to punish me because I've chosen this. And see, this is why the world has been holding me in contempt. 1 second. One more thing. Let me see if I can bring out dealing with this contempt. All the people that's been holding me in contempt, understand what's coming for you. Daniel 12:2. Multitudes who sleep in the dust of the earth will wake. Okay, you will wake up. This is not literal. It's not talking about people who are literally dead in graves. Okay, no, it's talking about the people who are spiritually sleeping. Okay, the people who are not aware of their conscience. Okay, the people who have seared their conscience and they are disconnected from spirit. Okay, they're empty vessels, empty shells. Only living for the carnal flesh. Alright? Only want to see based on flesh and blood and bone. Okay? This, alright, is the multitudes who sleep in the dust of the earth. Yeah, you will awake because you cannot tune out us. Okay? You hear us. Even though you hate us, you can't silence us. All right, time's up for tuning out your conscience. Okay, now we're standing up in great boldness and we are proclaiming the benevolent conscience. Okay? Some to everlasting life, others to shame and everlasting contempt. So all of this that has been done to me is coming on all the people who's done this to me. Okay? You're about to have it done unto you by your conscience. Your own conscience is about to torment you. Okay? Hold on, people. I gotta get another Third Testament up here. Come on now. Come on. Third Testament. I don't know how to spell it. Emphatic. I am. Hold on. Emphatic. Okay, that's it right there. Emphatic. Come on. Nose in there. Did they spell it a different way? Come on, bro. 1 second, people. Because I had this somewhere. I know I do. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I gotta find out exactly where it's at. Emphatic. Where's it? Work with me, people. Work with me. Okay, this might be it. Okay. Emphatic judgment. Okay. Alright, I think it might be in chapter 53. Let's try chapter 53. Okay, I'm looking for a certain thing. Emphatic judgment. 1 second. Wait a minute. It could be 2852. I wish I knew how to spell it. Most emphatic. Hold on, people. That's way too many hits, bro. Alright, the judgment of the spirit by its own conscience. I think this might be it. Come on now, let's go to it. Okay. Emphatic judgment. I need to find that. Hold on. One second. 28. Okay. Work with me, people. I'm trying to find it. I don't know how they spelled emphatic because apparently they're not spelling it correctly. It's really annoying. I don't know how the hell they spell the emphatic judgment, bro, but it's really annoying. I gotta find that particular part that is important. Let's see. It has to be. Okay. 2852. Okay, I thought that I found it. This is 28. Okay. Bruh. I don't know where the heck is at. Oh, I'm gonna have to go through every single one of these judgments to try to freaking find it. Like, bro, this is crazy. I don't know where the heck it's at. Because it comes right after that emphatic judgment, so... Emphatic judgment. That's important. I gotta get that. Okay, hold on. Clear judgment. Oops, nope. Judgment of the spirit by his own conscience. Okay. Okay. Alright, let me read this part here. Let's just get this. The judgment of the spirit by its own conscience. When the spirit of some great sinner departs from this material life to enter the spiritual valley, it is surprised to discover that hell, as it had once imagined, does not exist, and the fire of which it was previously told is nothing more than the essence of its works, harshly judged by its conscience. That eternal judgment and enlightenment which exist in the midst of the darkness that surround the sinner will be more painful than the strongest fire you could have ever imagined. But it is not a torture prepared beforehand as a punishment for the one who offended me. No, this torture originates when one begins to understand his own mistakes. When the spirit begins to feel great sorrow for having offended the one who created him and for not having made better use of his time and of the many gifts it received from its Lord. Do you believe that I should punish those who by their sins offend me, when I know that the sin offends more he who commits it? Do you not see that who the sinner does evil to is himself? And that I will not increase the misfortune he has worked upon himself by punishing him? The punishment comes from your own evil actions. You conjure up malevolent forces with evil actions. And it's these malevolent forces that get to take hold of its prey. That's what punishes. Okay? I merely allow them to see themselves and hear it is, inexorable voice of their consciences, interrogating and answering them to recover the spiritual memory that in the material form they had lost, and to remember their beginnings, their destiny, and their promises. There, in that judgment, they will feel the effects of the fire that exterminates their evil, and that recasts them like gold in a crucible, separating them from that which is harmful or superficial, and all that is not spiritual. When a spirit stops to listen to the voice and judgment of its conscience, verily I say to you that at that moment it finds itself in my presence. That's the ever presence of benevolence. At the moment of rest of serenity, at the moment of rest of serenity and of clarity does not come to all spirits at the same time. Some readily enter into that self-examination, and in so doing avoid much grief. For while they awaken to reality and recognize their errors, they prepare themselves and are ready to repair even the last of their bad deeds. Okay? So this is talking about those of us that do this in mortality. Okay? Those of us that actually listen to our conscience in mortality. While others, blinded, be it by vice. What is vice? That's anything that's contrary to infinite loving kindness and all things benevolent. Okay? That is the pleasures of the flesh. Okay? Selfishness. Alright? Because it's not like we can't obtain the pleasures of the flesh benevolently. Okay? Immoral, wicked behavior. Okay? Wrongdoing, Okay, so that's anything against your conscience. And anything against infinite, unconditional, loving kindness and all things benevolent is against your conscience, people. Okay? All of this is against the conscience. All right? Because our conscience is virtuous. Our conscience is righteous. Okay? Our conscience is benevolent. Our conscience is not malevolent. But the actions that people do that's contrary to our conscience is wicked, immoral, wrong, evil, okay? Profane, perverse, okay? It's crime. That's the world that we are living in. So when people don't want to turn from a life of immorality and wrongdoing, misconduct, perversion, you're making a choice to stay asleep, blinded by vice. Okay? Not all of us is blinded by vice. Some of us are led and guided via our conscience. But everybody that's blinded and led by vice, they gonna earn their money for a living. By golly, they gonna get their money. They gonna obtain their money. And this is why we live in this kind of society of immorality, wrongdoing, wickedness. All of this comes from the wicked imposing this economic system, forcing humanity to pay them money for a living. Okay? So, and then you get rewarded with your vice because you've obtained money. You got money, you can get your vice. If you ain't got money, you can't get your vice. Okay? While others blinded, be it by vice, by some resentment, or for having lived an existence of sin, delay coming out of their blindness. See, it ain't my problem that most people want to stay blinded. Okay? Others more dissatisfied, believing they have been torn from the earth before time, when all smiles upon them, curse and blaspheme, delaying their ability to free themselves from confusion. And like these, they are a great number of cases that know only my wisdom. You shall have to answer for all, and the more evil your works, the more energetic the judgment you shall receive from your conscience. Okay? Your conscience records everything that you think, you do, you say. Okay? You can't get away from it. All right? This is why it's very important how you treat people. This is why it's very important to keep that eternal law of love your neighbor as thyself, because you are your neighbor. Your neighbor is you. Whatever you do to your neighbor is coming back onto you. Okay? For I do not judge you. That is false. It is your own spirit in its lucid state that serves as both your fearful prosecutor and your terrible judge. It is I who defend you against the confusion and who absolve and save you. Now this goes way deeper, okay? I'm not going to try to get that deep right now, people, but how you are saved is by acknowledging your transgression. All right? You have to be able to be exposed. Okay? You have to be able to be exposed. You got to come into the light. All right? You must come into the light. This is in the book of remembrance. Okay? You must come into the light. You must allow yourself to be exposed. Okay? And you must atone for your transgression against infinite loving kindness and all things benevolent. Okay? That's how you're saved. That's how he can absolve and save you. That's the only way. All right? It's not by bloodshed. It's not by confession and belief on a blood sacrifice. All right? The only time that he can absolve and save you is if you choose it. And you choose it by your actions of humility. All right? You choose it by a broken heart, grieving over your transgression. And if you are truly remorseful of your transgression, then you will want to overturn it. If you stole something from somebody and you're holding on to it, and you happen to become convicted by it, and you happen to be remorseful, then you will return what you have stolen. And if you have already used what you stolen, then you would still seek for the person that you stole from, and you would seek to restore them. Okay? You will do what you can to restore them. All right? You will overturn your transgression. Okay? And this is how you can be saved, because he is, or this presence is infinite love that purifies and pardons, but does not impose it. Okay? It is a choice that we make. All right? Think that very soon you will be in spirit, and that which on this earth you have sown will also be what you reap. Okay? The passing from this life to the other does not fail to be a strict and severe judgment for the spirit. None escape that judgment, even he who considers himself the worthiest of servants. Okay, see, those of us that have been instructed to do this work, we are not exempt from this judgment. If we go contrary to our conscience, we are subject to the same judgment as everybody else. Okay? We are no different. We are no better. Okay? Our choices are different. That's all it is. Our mentality and our heart condition is different, which causes our actions to be different. This does not mean that we're better than and or more special than. Okay? We just have a different purpose. Okay? We're here to serve. We're here to freely give. We are not here to provide for our flesh. Okay? Please get it accurate. People, stop calling me a leech. My will is that from the moment you enter that infinite dwelling place, you cease to feel the anguishes of the earth and begin to feel the sweetness and pleasure of having climbed another step on the path. This is speaking of the benevolent conscience. All right? When you are outside of the flesh, you no longer have the distractions of the flesh in this physical reality. Okay? There ain't no running from your conscience. Okay? All the searing that you've done, immortality, all that's gone. All that's gone when you leave the fleshly body. It's no longer seared. Okay? You will be aware. All right. Now, man, I don't know where that part is. Emphatic judgment of the conscience. Hold on. How great is the pain of the spirit when a conscience awakens it. How it then humbles itself under the gaze of its supreme judge. How humbly then spring from the intimate depths of its being petitions for forgiveness, promises, and blessings of my name, loving kindness and all things benevolent. There, the Spirit recognizes that it cannot approach the perfection of the eternal Father, and directing its gaze to the earth, where it did not know how to make use of its time and the opportunity for it to come closer to its goal, asks for another period of flesh to atone for its faults and complete unfulfilled missions. Who then performed justice? Was it not the Spirit itself that formulated the judgment? My spirit is a mirror in which you must look at yourselves, and which will tell you the state of purity you maintain. When your spirit leaves its human shell, and in the sanctuary of the spiritual life recollects in its inner depths to examine its past and the results of it, many of its acts that here in the world has seemed perfect to it, worthy of being presented to the Lord and deserving of some reward, seem small in the distance of that meditation. The Spirit will understand that the meaning of many acts that in the world seemed good to it were mere traces of vanity, of false love, of a charity not felt by the heart. And all of that right there is dealing with this whole economic system. Okay, this world that we were born in and taught accordingly. See, people think it's a good thing to earn their money for a living. Be a responsible adult. Be a respectful citizen, a respectable citizen. Pay your bills, pay your taxes. People think that that's righteous. How? When you're complacent with homelessness, you're complacent with those who don't have money. So, and then you do charity of those who establish these charities. That ain't felt by the heart. No, and you get to write that off on your tax returns and get it back. You ain't fooling your conscience. You're not fooling the ever-presence of benevolence. Nor are you fooling the authentic servants of infinite loving kindness and all things benevolent any longer. Who do you believe has given to the Spirit the enlightenment of a perfect judge in order to judge itself? The conscience, which at that hour of justice will seem to glow with a clarity never seen before, will be who tells each one which from its works on earth was good, just, real, and true, as well as what was evil, false, or impure, that it sowed along the way. The sanctuary of which I have just told you is that of the conscience, that the temple that none may profane. that temple that none may profane. Mortal men can't profane the conscience. Only thing mortal men can do is sear their conscience, so that they can no longer hear their conscience. Harden their heart condition against those of us that hear our conscience and are led and guided by our conscience. The temple in which God dwells, the God of loving kindness and all things benevolence, and from which his voice and his light issue. Now, our conscience is actually feminine, so that shouldn't be he. In that instance, this God would be she. She dwells, and from which her voice and her light issue. Okay? The conscience is the Holy Spirit. That is that small, still voice. Okay? Our conscience is the great mother. All right? The infinite, great, benevolent mother. Okay? Which is like a nagging mother. All right? It will let you know that, hey, you doing something that's contrary to me. All right? And, children choose to be disobedient. All right? They don't want to listen to their mother. All right? They choose to be outright disobedient, hardening their heart, okay? Bucking against their mother's instruction. All right? This is how people treat their conscience. All right? In the world, you have never known how to enter that inner sanctuary. For your human personality always seeks the way to evade that wise voice that speaks inside of each man. That small, still voice, the Holy Spirit. Okay? Your ego blocks it. Okay? Human personality, ego. Alright? Human personality is your ego and everything that you think you know. Everything you've been taught to believe according to this false ass reality. Okay? I tell you that when your spirit puts aside its shell, its ego, it will finally be able to stop before the portal of that sanctuary to prepare itself to enter. Okay, this is the knocking at the door, people. He says, knock, and the door shall be opened unto you. Okay? That is the door of your conscience. And in order to go within the chambers of your conscience, you must humble yourself like a little child. That means you must subdue your ego. Okay? You must subdue all your demons that feed your ego, such as pride and arrogance. Okay? Jealousy, envy, bitterness, hatred, strife. Okay? And before that altar of the Spirit, prostrate itself. Listen to itself. Examine its works in the light that comes from the conscience. And hear, speaking within itself, the voice of the great mother that was given to us from the eternal Father. Okay? As master and as judge. Okay? When the Spirit feels itself to be in front of its conscience, and the conscience makes itself present with the clarity of truth, that being feels without the strength to hear itself, it wished it had never existed, because in an instant all its life passes before its eyes. What it left behind, what it possessed, and what belonged to it, and that for which it must now finally account. Disciples, humanity, Prepare yourselves in this life for that instant, so that when your spirit presents itself at the threshold of the temple of the conscience, you do not make of that temple a courtroom, for the spiritual pain would be so great that there is no physical pain comparable. This is why it's compared to a burning lake of fire. This is why it's compared to an endless worm that never dies. Okay. And when I find that one part, people, I will definitely uh, try to get it for you. Let me try one more thing right quick. Alright, one more thing. Give me 1 second. Oh, 1 second. Alright, just chapter 49. The arrogant, self-righteous justice of men. May love be what guides you, so that you may become true messengers of the divine comforter. For you who have never tumbled into an abyss are always blaming, always judging superficially, and condemning your fellow men without any pity. And that is not my doctrine. If before judging you look closely at yourselves and your own defects, I assure you your judgment would be more merciful. You consider those in jails to be evil, and hold those in hospitals to be unlucky. You keep yourselves apart from them without realizing that they are worthy of entering the kingdom of my love. And you do not wish to consider that they also have the right to receive the rays of the sun, which was made to give life and warmth to all the creatures without exception. Many of these beings confined in places of atonement are mirrors into which humanity does not wish to look, for it knows that what these mirrors reflect will many times be an accusation. Okay? Okay. The depravity of humanity. Okay, I'm gonna have to try to find where the heck that's at. The emphatic judgment. I don't know where the heck that's at. They must have spelled it differently, bro. They must have spelled it differently. Or got it worded differently or something. But I think I did definitely bring out the point. All right, that's it. Okay. All right. So anyway, people, so you got to see what I was talking about nevertheless. All right. This is that emphatic judgment. Your conscience everybody's going to know, okay? Because you cannot hide from your conscience, okay? You're not going to be able to hide from your conscience whatsoever, okay? Okay, yeah. Oh, man. This is the time we're in right now, people. Okay? At that time, Michael, the great prince, who stands watch over your people, will rise up. There will be a time of distress, the likes of which will not have occurred from the beginning of nations unto this time that we have entered. Okay? But at that time, your people, that be us, the obedient covenant remnant of this land, the seed of this land, okay? The remnant within the remnant of the Yahudim, okay? And all the righteous individual people who are cleaving unto us, everyone whose name is found written in the book of life will be delivered, okay? And many who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake, some to everlasting life. Okay? That's those that's going to be happy. Okay? That's those that's not going to be in misery, long suffering. Okay? But others to shame and everlasting contempt. All right? Yes, they're going to be in great misery and long suffering, turmoil of spirit. Okay? Some are not even going to be upon these lands. All right? They're going to be going through hell in their own ancestral land. Barren. Okay? With their hinder part turned to the sea. Okay? Against the east sea, I think that is. Is that in Joel? The northern army will be driven away. So you need to understand this de facto government that set itself up in authority over us upon our ancestral land. This is all a part of our restoration that's been promised. Okay? And the Lord answered his people, behold, I will send you grain. Because, see, they trying to take away food. They trying to make it to where, like, we can't even eat. Okay? All right? They're demanding this money. They're crushing the people. They're crushing the poor, okay, continuously. They're grinding the faces of the poor, okay. So our Lord answered his people and says, behold, I will send you grain, new wine, and oil, and by them you will be satisfied. I will never again allow you to be a reproach among the nations. The northern army, I will drive them away from you. They will be banished to a barren and desolate land. Its front ranks unto the eastern sea, and its rear guard unto the west into the western sea. And its stench will rise, its foul odor will ascend, for he has done great things. This is the worst of the heathen that establish and uphold this system, that's been upholding this wicked ass system, this economic system of capitalism. Okay, your governments have done evil things. Okay. Now, these are the ones that's going to be driven from these lands. All right? Then the wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens. That's the meek, tender-hearted, vessels of mercy that were seated here in order to speak the benevolent conscience as we demonstrated by our actions. This is coming. The wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness will shine like the stars forever and ever. Okay? So, we gonna get more from this Third Testament, people, but for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here because we had a hour and almost 30 minutes. All right, we got about 17 minutes and 38 seconds or so within the audio. So we will, when I pick it back up, we'll continue. But I'm most likely gonna go ahead and upload this. I don't know if I'm gonna do it all at once or not, because I got some other things I need to be bringing. I don't know what I'm gonna do, people. I got some, I got the podcast going, and I got several things to add to that. So, yeah, people, understand, man. I do what I do in order to help you. Okay. This is what I've been called to do. All right. It's a damn shame people keep trying to outlaw me from doing this, or trying to force me to divide my mentality and my heart condition with earning money for a living. No. Okay, I am wholehearted with this. Okay, so if this resonates with your spirit and with your soul, I would appreciate the support. Okay, if you have it within your budget and within your means, I would greatly appreciate the generosity, okay, of substance, physical substance, because I am not earning money for a living. Okay, I ain't earning money at all. Okay, I dedicate all my time, energy, and effort to flow by way of the Spirit, freely giving these oracles by way of the Spirit. Okay? Shalom.